Just in the nick of time, the dock workers that were gonna go on strike and have thousands and thousands of dollars more in costs for the average tax-paying citizen and make Joe Biden and Kamala Harris's administration look like a catastrophe didn't go on strike. It makes you wonder if behind the scenes, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris were in on it to make it seem like they were all organized and they are ready to stop any bad thing from happening to us, even though they have failed us, the people, many times before. Also in the news, we have many people coming out and saying that Doug Emhoff assaulted them. But of course, the media will not give any time of day to this story because it has something to do with a Democrat and not a Republican. If it were Trump in Doug's shoes here, which we saw over the last 8.5 years, they would nonstop have this in every single highlight reel of every single news piece, and every single CNN article would say something about this, and then MSNBC would talk about this, NPR would talk about this, every single mainstream media source would talk about this. But since it's Doug and he's a Democrat and his wife is running for the presidency, nope, we cannot talk about it any longer. We must be silent. With that being said, we're going to be digging into that and a lot more on today's episode.
Facts over tracks, this and that, spitting slow, spitting fast, I could roast, I could gas, think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past.
Digging right in, we actually have a Daily Wire article. We have dock workers end strike with a tentative agreement for higher wages. This is an article from the Daily Wire. Dock workers strike that reportedly cost the economy billions per day just weeks before the election has ended, with the union and port ownership striking a tentative agreement on Thursday. In a joint statement, the International Longshoremen Association and Port Ownership, represented by the United States Maritime Alliance, announced that they would extend the expired contract until January. So this brings it right until inauguration day. The two sides said that they have reached a tentative agreement on wages and they have agreed to extend the master contract until January 15, 2025 to return to the bargaining table to negotiate all other outstanding issues. Effective immediately, all current job actions will cease and all work covered by the master's contract will resume. The statement read, the wage announcement reportedly consists of a $4 per hour raise for each year of the 6-year contract. The final details of the deal still have to be worked out. The tentative deal still has to be ratified by the rank and file union members. If members vote against it, the strike could start again. President Biden praised the new agreement in a statement. Tentative agreement on the record wage and extension of the collective bargaining process represents critical process towards a strong contract, Biden said. I congratulate the dock workers from ILA, deserve a strong contract after sacrificing so much to keep our ports open during this pandemic, and I applaud the port operators and carriers who are members of the U.S. Maritime Alliance for working hard and putting a strong offer on the table. So of course, Biden is going to come out and support the unions because he wants Kamala Harris and him to have the union vote. But at the same exact time, if we didn't have the unions, then we don't have to even deal with this at the same exact time. I don't agree with the unions most of the time. And this aspect, I 60 to 40% agree. I think that, yeah, I mean, everything has gone up in the economy. We can't afford our bills anymore. So in that aspect, yes. But the thing is, at the same exact time, if they're still getting paid really, really well, I also agree that with this actual agreement right here, I don't think that we should put robots in job positions in America. I don't think that we should put AI in positions of work in America, because that's going to take away from us, the American people, and most likely going to give it to a China-based company, of course. I agree with that. I think that we should keep the jobs on the table, but at the same exact time, we could have more jobs in America producing gas, producing crude oil. And there's some reports saying that the United States has become the highest producer for crude oil, but we could have accomplished this 4 years ago and actually got this on the market immediately. So of course, when we're talking about crude oil being produced now in America, crude oil takes so long to actually produce into gas and refine into gas that it's not going to even hit the market until years and years from now. And then they're going to complain and say, well, that's not Trump's doing that the gas prices are so low. It doesn't matter. Whoever's president gets responsibility for the gas prices, whether they be high, whether they be low. Like I said, Trump had gas prices at $2.15. If you want to sit here and say, oh no, that that wasn't Trump's. I don't really care what the examples are that you're gonna bring up, or what the evidence is to show that he actually didn't do this because of this and this and that. I don't care. I pay $2.15 per gallon of gas in the Trump economy. Now, under the Joe Biden economy, or I should say a few weeks ago, I was paying $3.50 for gas, almost triple what I was paying under Trump. So again, I used to give a $20 bill, and then I used to get $4 back. So I only paid $16 per week of gas. The gas quality was really good under Trump, and it lasted me the whole week. Now I have to go to the gas station twice a week, or not now because I have a Tesla, but before, when I had a gas muzzling car, which was only 3 weeks ago, guys, I was paying $90 per week in gas. I used to have to fill up twice a week. I mean, I don't want to deal with this. I mean, I didn't want to deal with this anymore. That's why I switched to Elon Musk's car, which is actually really good. I really recommend it because you charge at home. It's convenient for you, or you go to the supercharger. You take like 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes max. I go twice a week because I charge most of the time at home, and that's the convenience of it. And the thing is, we also can produce more electric here in America too. I mean, we can have nuclear plants. We can have stuff that makes energy efficiency in America to produce really, really cheaply in America, and just like crude oil, and just like natural gas, and just like everything else. That would be really, really helpful if we actually paid attention to this and produced more in America. And that's exactly what really made me mad about the debate too, is because of the fact that they're going to sit here and say that there's so many things made in America. There's so many things made in America. We make so many things. Okay, listen, why is it that we're still importing so many things from China? We're still importing all of the chips from Taiwan. If China invades Taiwan, we're done. We can't sell cars because we already saw this, that there was a chip shortage. We had so many cars on lots that we couldn't even use because it was missing that one chip. We can have iPhones because the chips that we use for the iPhones are made in Taiwan. We have so many different things made abroad that if we don't have any connection to imports, just like this dock working strike that we just saw here, so many things come from abroad that when you go in, you want to actually buy it, it's like 4 times the cost if there's anything like this, a strike. So yeah, that's why I think that we should even produce more in America. Yes, most of the solar panels, I mean, I would say that at least from Tesla are made in America, but we have chips that are in the solar panels that are made from Taiwan. But the thing is, if we can make everything here in America, that's exactly why I like Elon Musk so much, because he has so many plants all over the place. He just built one in Texas, and I believe the car that I got came from that Texas gigafactory that he made. So that's really good. Made in America. That's really nice. But then obviously the chips come from Taiwan because of the fact that we didn't, as a country, and under Joe Biden, I guess, did not want to actually produce chips here in America. And we need to actually have more fracking in America too. Yes, people say, oh, well, fracking is dangerous because it can explode. Okay, so anything's dangerous. So we shut down an electric company because of the fact that it was ugly, I guess, and it actually lowered all electricity costs because we were producing it just a town across from where I used to live, I guess, and it was just so convenient. The electricity came from over there. My grandfather used to work there. He said it was actually really good. It was really efficient. He was even breaking down exactly what comes out of the big towers. So in electric companies, they used to have this big, I would say like a funnel, and then smoke used to come out of the funnel, and a lot of people were like, what is this? Like, you're polluting the earth. But the thing is, he broke it down because he was an engineer for this factory, and he broke it down and he said that was all water vapor. There was so many sensors that if they were 1 part per billion off, then the whole entire factory would be shut down. And there was not one day that the factory got shut down. It's all water vapor that these electric companies used to put out into the air. So that did not pollute at all. The reason why they shut it down though is because of the fact that they just didn't like it. It was the public perception of this. It wasn't the actual facts of this. That's what's so upsetting about it. And on top of all of that, giving us clean, not clean electric, but giving us electric for more efficient electric, producing that more locally instead of shipping it from out of state and then bringing that into this city or into this town. That's not as efficient as what it can be. And not only that, but also it used to use so much water to actually cool down the coal that it was using to produce for electric that it was actually cleaning the water supply in that town that it was in. So the water was so clean out of the tap water that everybody can just drink right out of the tap. But now it's dirty. There's stuff in the water because nobody's using as much water because it was made for that electric company. But now that it's not, and it's just sitting in the pipes, it's just getting dirty. And there's constantly alerts that the water supply that is coming out of their tap is not made for drinking. There's alerts almost every single week, and my family shows me these alerts that they get because of the fact that it's just sitting in their piping. So not good whatsoever. That's exactly why this gave us so much more opportunity and much more helpfulness instead of downfall. Like, it would have actually helped us to actually still have this up. But of course, the public perception of this, which was actually built on lies on top of lies on top of lies, actually got the whole entire thing shut down. And then Joe Biden actually went to it and said, oh, well, we're going to actually make solar panels. Those solar panels are still not at the electric company that Joe Biden was talking about. And it was also annoying when he came down here, is because of the fact that when he came down here, all of the highways were just shut down. Obviously because he's the president. But the thing is, it's like, okay, why are you even coming here? You could just say it from the Oval Office, I want to put solar panels here. Like, why are you going to come down to the town, shut down the whole entire town for the day because you just want to come down here to say we're going to put solar panels, which there's still not even solar panels there. So it just doesn't even make any sense. Even if we were to put solar panels in its place where this electric company used to be, then it's still not going to produce enough electric for the city. We would need solar panels all throughout the water, plus solar panels on top of everyone's houses to produce enough electric. So not good whatsoever. And on top of that, New England does not get a lot of sun, so it's mostly cloudy throughout the year. So I would not say that this is the best place for solar panels whatsoever. So with that being said, we do have another article from the Daily Wire. We have a major media outlet silent on Doug Emhoff's assault allegations. So top United States media outlets are staying silent on the allegation of assault against Doug Emhoff, the husband of Kamala Harris. So, an executive story published on Wednesday by Daily Mail reported that Emhoff had drunkenly and forcefully slapped his ex-girlfriend in 2012 at the Cannes Film Festival in France because he thought that she was flirting with another man. 3 friends confirmed the story to the Daily Mail, which did not identify Emhoff's ex-girlfriend and only revealed that she was a successful New York attorney. The publication included a photo of the couple with the woman's face blurred out, as well as a travel itinerary in the email showing details about their stay in Nice, France. The Daily Wire reached out to both the White House and the Harris campaign without a response. An unnamed spokesperson for Emhoff told Senator Semaphore that the report is untrue and that any suggestion that he would or has ever hit a woman is false, which I don't have any evidence to actually believe them, so I don't believe them. The Daily Mail's story broke Wednesday morning as of Thursday afternoon, of course, because these media companies are not going to even talk about the New York Times, the Washington Post, CNN, and other top media outlets have not covered this matter at all, of course, because they're not. These media outlets did not immediately respond to requests for comment, and their silence has prompted criticism from commentators like Megyn Kelly and Chris Cuomo, which is actually surprising because Chris Cuomo has even did better without CNN, so that's funny. Who suggests this shows a double standard, which is completely true. Some of the Washington Post's more recent coverage of Emhoff includes the headlines Doug Emhoff is all over the campaign trail, Melania Trump is not. And Emhoff shares how he first met Kamala Harris, as well as an opinion piece, Doug Emhoff, modern-day sex symbol, which is not true whatsoever, and the groundbreaking normalcy of Doug Emhoff. The New York Times has recently published pieces on Emhoff that includes the rise of the husband, Doug Emhoff poking fun at himself, talks up Kamala Harris, and Ella Emhoff had a busy New York Fashion Week, a piece about his daughter. The CNN, I should say, has similarly published flattering pieces on the second gentleman, such as how Doug Emhoff is amplifying his wife's historic presidential bid, and Emhoff's reaction to the hostage murders underscores unique way he speaks for Harris. Emhoff and his ex-girlfriend, whom the Daily Wire identified as Jane, reportedly met on a dating website and has been dating for about 3 months before the alleged assault took place. Shortly before the trip, the Daily Mail reported Emhoff allegedly revealed to Jane that he had an affair with his nanny while they were still married to his ex-girlfriend, or ex-wife, I should say. Emhoff admitted in August to impregnating the former nanny while cheating on his first wife, which is just absolutely crazy. He cheated on his first wife with the nanny, got the nanny pregnant, and then went and found himself a new girlfriend. Like, what is going on here? Yeah, and another MSNBC contributor discussed how we've got two different views of masculinity, the kind of alpha retro view of masculinity and what we're seeing from the Trump campaign, and then Tim Walz and Doug Emhoff, which are both professional men who are in supportive roles of women, which is just completely crazy because now supportive roles of women by cheating on your first wife and impregnating the nanny is not a supportive role of a woman at all. It's actually the opposite of what women want. They don't want a cheater that's impregnating a nanny that they trusted to take care of their kids. Just absolutely insane, the spin that they're trying to put on this thing. Moving into the next article here, we have Gates unveils bill to cut federal aid for NGOs assisting illegal immigrants. This is actually something that Matt Gaetz is actually doing good on, instead of actually running around the White House and playing tag. This is actually something good. So a new bill in the White House seeks to block entities such as non-governmental organizations from receiving federal aid if they assist illegal immigrants in violation of immigration laws. Rep. Matt Gaetz introduced legislation called the Blocking Assistance and Resources to Restrict Illegal Entry and Residency Barrier Act this week, along with several GOP colleagues. The bill would limit the availability of federal assistance, financial assistance, for entities that aid or facilitate illegal immigration and for other purposes, according to the text legislation. An entity such as the non-governmental organization or a corporation would be ineligible to receive any federal money if it violates immigration laws, starting in the first year after indictment, the bill states. Federal aid here is defined by the part of the U.S. Code that covers grants, loans, and more, but not reimbursements for services in accordance with guidance issued by OMB director. Any group that aids or facilitates the entry of migrants in the United States in defense of Section 101 of the Immigration and Nationality Act could be impacted by the bill. Violations include promoting, or advertising transportation, shelter, financial support, or legal assistance to migrants trying to enter the United States illegally or who are present without lawful status. News Nation reported last year how NGOs gets billions in taxpayer dollars from federal agencies such as the Department of Homeland Security, the DHS, and true cost of the border crisis can be hidden this way. Charles Martineau, a former DHS advisor under former President Barack Obama, told the news outlet that the problem here is that NGOs have taken over the official travel agency of the DHS. Gates unveiled his bill with Reps. Lauren Boebert, Mary Miller, Eric Burlison, Radley Weber, Troy Nichols, Andy Argils, and Andy Briggs, and as co-sponsors. NGOs or nonprofits serve as the foot soldiers for the Biden-Harris administration's mass immigration policies by helping illegal aliens cross the border and stay here for years after legality, Gates said. He added to the bill will strip these organizations from federal funding, which can be used to assist those who break federal law. The federal government should not be financing the destination and the destruction of its own country. And I completely agree with that because of the fact that we're sitting here importing all of these illegal immigrants, which Democrats think that they're going to vote for them, which they probably are, but they think that they're going to vote for them. That's exactly why they're importing thousands and thousands, millions of illegal immigrants into this country. And then they break the laws, they run people over, exactly what we have for our next article here. So of course we have another article on what's actually happening with our illegal immigrants here, because then they have just ran over another person because of the fact that these people do not know how to drive. They're coming into this country with their out of country licenses, and then they don't know how to drive whatsoever, and then they end up driving somebody over and then killing them, which happens almost every single week now because of the fact that the government just does not look out for its people. This is exactly why this illegal immigrant has just been accused of injuring multiple Texas children in drunken car crash. So, this is according to the Daily Wire. The man accused of drinking 4 beers before crashing his car into an SUV and injuring several children in Texas last week is an illegal immigrant from Honduras, federal investigation officials told the Daily Wire. Dallas police arrested Jose Luis Costerio Alvario, 20, on Saturday after they said that he ran a red light at around 10 p.m. and crashed into an SUV, seriously injuring 6 children. According to police, El Guerrero allegedly admitted to the police that he had consumed 2 beers before the crash, but a passenger in his vehicle said that they each drank 4 beers just before the crash. One of the children injured, a 4-year-old girl, was thrown out of the vehicle in critical condition, which is completely crazy. According to Fox 4, he suffered multiple fractures in a lacerated liver an injured 5-year-old required jaw surgery, which is absolutely crazy that these people are still alive. Thank God they're still alive because of a person like this that is drinking and driving. He deserves to get deported and then arrested in that country forever because you do not drink and drive and then you almost killed 4 children. Yeah, no. Nope, we're not playing around. We are not playing around whatsoever in this country. We need to actually be a serious country for once. Okay. With that being said, this is an absolutely disgraceful thing. And that's exactly why we do not need any more illegal immigrants, because this is exactly what's happening. But this is not the end of what's exactly happening here. The disaster relief in Florida, because of the fact that we just had Hurricane Helen, or Helene, just last week, and we saw North Carolina completely devastated. We saw Tennessee completely devastated, and then we saw Florida completely devastated. And of course, we have the disaster relief being DEI-ified because of this administration, Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. So this is another Daily Wire article. Days after the destruction of Hurricane Helen, with more than 100 Americans dead and billions worth of damage done to life and the livelihood, the government tasked with aiding disaster relief has fallen victim to the diversification mission draft. As the backlash against DEI grows in corporate and academic spaces, we're beginning to see the tactile problem. Institutional trends often aren't created by big headlines, but by quiet occupants to under the radar practices that can, over the years, lead to incredibly damaging mission draft. Centrally, the mission matters for a college, and it matters even more for businesses, but it arguably matters most of the time when it comes to dealing with natural disasters threatening tens of billions of dollars worth of damage to American people. And yet, it's in this area of DEI is a mission draft that occurred most blatantly. It shouldn't be controversial to say that race obsession should not be the primary consideration when it comes to disaster relief that affects Americans in every race. Yet, as the city of Asheville floods, FEMA itself is focused on appraising race-obsessed people. In the wake of Helene's destruction, the Biden administration is taking widespread flack for their 2022 to 2026 Strategic Disaster Relief Plan, listing as their primary objective instilling equality as a foundation of emergency management. What does that mean exactly? In FEMA's words, proactively prioritizing actions that advance equality for communities in identifying groups that have historically been underserved. Pair this with the 1988 Stanford Act's requirement for non-discrimination in FEMA's disaster relief, and you've got a sense of where our administration stands, kicking against the odds to live out their desired focus on something far more important than the silly non-discrimination thing, and gradually worded commitment to quote equality that places priority on the historically underserved while taking priority away from the currently struggling. I completely agree with this. This should not be based on who you are as a person. This should be based on how bad you actually need support. If you actually don't need a house, if you don't have a house, you have nowhere to live, then of course you're going to need relief more than a person that just has a broken window or something like that, or his car got destroyed. You're going to need support way more in the house or no house situation. Of course. And this is common sense, but of course nobody wants to actually talk about this. Or people do want to talk about this, but then the FEMA, which is actually an organization that's supposed to be here for the people, don't want to actually do anything. American Red Cross, they are probably going to operate the same exact way, because it's just every single organization is now putting race at the absolute forefront before anything else, and that should not be the case whatsoever. So with that being said, it's an absolute disgrace that we have Kamala Harris actually doing this to our federal government agencies, and it's an absolute disgrace that Joe Biden is allowing this to happen because they agree with each other. What is one policy is also for the others. Kamala Harris is the current vice president under Joe Biden's administration. They're the same exact administration, and they cannot separate themselves. So with that being said, we're going to sum up this episode here. If you did like this episode and you do want to see more, I do post new episodes of the show every single Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for listening, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye.